Meet the Fox, your inner and outer beauty hostess. I'm excited to be here. I have a beautiful guest with me, so I will introduce her later. Well, I'll let her introduce herself, but like I say, thank you so much for being here. So, my beautiful guest, her name is Cheron Van Beek. I will let her introduce herself. So, I just want to share a little bit. If this is your first time to be here, the Inner and Outer Beauty Show is a place where I bring in people who are doing amazing things in the community. And when we talk about beauty, we talk about the inner, which is the mindset, your character, and your thoughts and the emotions. And then we talk about the outer beauty, whereby we are talking about how you present yourself. So this is including taking care of yourself physically. Okay. And I think my guest is disappeared somewhere. She's coming. Anyways, all right. So Sharon, she's going to talk a little about herself so you get to meet her and to know her. So when I have a guest, I do not want to talk too much because I want you to experience what she is going to share. So Cheron Van Beek, can you just tell us a little bit, who is Cheron and what's your background?
Hi, Maytha. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor and a pleasure to be here today. So, my name is Sharon. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe. I am the oldest of 7 children, and I came to Canada in 2001. So, I've been in Canada for 19 years. I love it here. This has now become my new home. I am a single parent of 3 beautiful daughters, but I am also known as an author and a speaker and an inspirational force. And I love writing.
Oh, that's
Writing is what
amazing. I
sets
like
my
that.
soul on fire. Yes. Is there anything else you would like
All
to know?
right.
Okay.
So before we talk a little bit about that, what made you come to Canada? Of all the places,
So, of all
it's
the
too cold here.
places, don't tell anybody, but I followed
That's
a
what I
guy.
tell myself sometimes. Of all the places,
Well, so I followed a guy.
that's all right. That's all right.
So I followed a guy, and my mom didn't want like me, and she didn't want. Well, I mean, she didn't like the guy, and she didn't want the relationship. But of course, I went against what she was saying, and I listened to what I believed was love beating in my heart, and came to Canada with this guy. But it didn't work out. After a year, I kind of saw some of the things my mother had been talking about. So the relationship ended, and I decided to stay because I found in Canada I've started changing. So for me, I used to joke and say, "Oh, Canada's where I'm actually growing up." At that point, I was an adult. I was already, I think I was 28 years old, but I was very dependent. I was independent in the fact that I worked and I lived on my own, but I was very dependent on my family. I couldn't drive, so I depended on them to drive me places and stuff like that. So in Canada, I came here and I learned to, I have a support system, but I kind of learned to do things for myself, and I actually learned how to drive in Canada, believe it or not. Yeah, so that.
Well, that's all right. We all have our story of why we came to Canada, and there's
Yes.
no right or wrong. I just believe it was meant to be that you would end up here regardless. So, regardless of the path you took, that's what it was. You are here. And so, tell me, when you came to Canada, You are a writer. So, like, where did that passion come from? Was it always there, or you discovered it while you were here in Canada? What happened?
So it was not always there. It actually I discovered it, and I think it was yeah, about 2017. So I will start. My story actually began in 2012, where I was dating my now ex-husband, and he was deported from Canada when I was 3 months pregnant with our second daughter. This was like the greatest trial of my life, Martha. I've had trials, but this one broke me. And for 4 years, I was in this state of depression. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? For me, I had thought I had finally found my happily ever after. I was angry at the world. I was angry at immigration. I was angry with Canada. Just how can my whole life be shattered in an instant? And I think it was early in 2017. One day I was driving home from work, and I had stopped at the traffic light, and it was kind of a cloudy day, but one of those days where the sun shines through the clouds. And I looked up at the sky and I thought, wow, if the sun in all its glory continues to shine behind the clouds, there has to be a blessing in disguise in my situation. I don't know what that blessing is, but thank you. And at the time, I believed I had Christian beliefs, but what I didn't know at the time, even though I did not feel grateful, just saying thank you began to change my life. And every time I felt myself getting depressed, feeling sorry for myself, and feeling sad and stuff like that, and angry, I would just say, thank you. There's a blessing in disguise. I have no idea what it is, but thank you. And what I had no idea was that was beginning to change my life and changing my perspective and changing the way I would see things. And it began to bring different people into my life. And the first one was I was through my cousin, I got into a network marketing opportunity. Now, the person I was before really had no self-confidence, did not believe in being an entrepreneur. I had no idea that I had a gift of writing. I I just believed that people who wanted to be entrepreneurs were crazy. Why do you want to go and run your own business when you can work at this job, complain about your job, get your paycheck every 2 weeks and that type of thing. So why do you want to have your own business and all that stress and stuff like that? And then here I am taking a network marketing opportunity that goes against what I believe and what I think. So totally out of character for who I was at that time. But lo and behold, I did not work that network marketing opportunity because it was a stepping stone for me to get to personal development. And when I began studying personal development, this is when the changes began to take place. And I remember my mentor used to ask me all the time, what are your beliefs? Do you know that your beliefs are limiting you? And I'm thinking, excuse me, can I asked you, can you go to Kelly? Thank you. Thank you for your patience. my
That's all right.
my
That's all
baby, for some reason, usually when I do this, she's not worried about me, but today she's worried about me. So, anyway, so I began to do this, excuse me, personal development and learned. So my mentor kept asking, "What are your beliefs?" And I kept thinking, "What is this person talking about?" I actually thought he was a crazy person. Why does he keep asking this? And eventually, he kept on going about this. So I thought, you know what, just to get this individual off my nerves, I will find do some research into myself and find out what are these beliefs. And then in delving into this, I came to the realization that the beliefs I had were passed down from generations. And I don't know how far the generations go back, but a lot of those beliefs were no longer valid for this time that we're living in, as well as the person I was now becoming. And I began to understand how those beliefs were limiting the life that I had. And there was so much I needed to change. And in working on the racism within my own self, working on my money beliefs, working on the anger within myself towards my mom, and going on this incredible journey of healing and awakening to spirituality, and understanding that when you go on a journey of self discovery, it's where if you have a lot of pain within you, it's very, very difficult. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but I'm very happy to say that I have reached the other side. You know, there's hope, and you can get to the other side of it if you just persevere and keep going, keep going,
That's
and
mhm.
yeah.
No, go
So
ahead.
yeah, no, and just changing, slowly seeing like, oh, just discovering myself. And the more I released those limiting beliefs, the more I was able to open my heart and my mind to discovering more about me and myself. And I was also able to work on facing my fears, which was something that I could not do before, and finding my voice, And my greatest fear was really and truly, first and foremost, talking about my ex-husband being deported. I was really, that was the greatest trial. And with that trial came guilt, shame, anger, feelings of humiliation, as well as being humiliated by others. I believe there's no good trial without those who do their very best to humiliate you when you're down and at your worst, right? But
Right.
what those people didn't know, and what I didn't know, was that they were bearing me in order for me to grow and to discover myself and to go on this journey of healing and really working on this anger towards my mom, which I had held within me for over 30 years of my life, and discovering how holding on to this anger affects your body, it affects the decisions you make for your life, and how I was passing that anger on to my children. And I didn't want to do that. As I'm growing and becoming more aware of myself and understanding this, it's I see that what was passed down to me was a learned experience, and I cannot speak for my mother's journey. I can only speak for the way I perceived things and the way I interpreted, and how I interpreted and how I projected out to the world and onto my children. And making a change within myself is really one of the greatest journeys I have ever been on, to really see this person blossom from somebody who could not had no idea that it was even possible to do a Facebook live. you know that it was within me to do something like that, and who had no idea I could actually write a book, and no idea that by sharing my story, I can inspire others to make the changes that they feel are applicable for their lives.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's deeply soul fulfilling to see, I was, even with writing my book, I wrote it, but I was so afraid of judgment and backlash from
Mhm.
people. But I have received so much support and love and encouragement and so many messages from people telling me how they resonate with my story and how they can take parts of it to change things that are applicable to their lives. And
Powerful.
thank
I
you.
wanted to add and ask something. So first of
Yes,
all, you were talking about the beliefs, right?
yes,
And then you were talking about network marketing. You started it, but it went against what you believed. What I really liked when you said you were thinking, like, why would somebody want all the stress of having a business? Why can't you just get a 9 to 5 job? And guess what? The people on the other side of network marketing, they're actually thinking the same about people who are going to work. So the way I see it, it's it's just how we are
yes.
made. Like for me, the idea of working for somebody else, being on told when to come to work,
Yeah,
told when to
yeah,
go to work, being told when to
yes.
go home. For me, that doesn't work. It's depressing for me. So I understand if somebody who has a job thinks the same about what I do. It's just the way we believe, and there's no right or wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is, and that's the thing that I have learned too, is that there is no right or wrong because you
Yeah.
are doing what you believe and going by those beliefs, and that's what's working for you and your life. So just because I didn't believe that being an entrepreneur was a good thing didn't mean that I was wrong by going to work and
Yep.
being okay with going to work 9 to 5, complaining about my job, wishing for a pay rise, those kinds of things. And it's so incredible when, I see when you have your heart open and your mind open to seeing and accepting people's differences and accepting who they are for who they are and not trying to make them be how you think they should be.
Yes. And another thing, I've been in network marketing for 15 years.
Wow,
But there's one thing,
congratulations.
oh, thank you. I started with network marketing. Now I'm into writing. So I'm combining those two. Those are my passions. I love what
Wow.
I do because I truly believe in my network marketing. I have multiple businesses, right? Like
Yes.
skincare, like beauty and health. And I truly believe those are the areas I'm really passionate in helping people. But what I hate, one thing is when a network marketer is trying to recruit by saying, don't waste your time on a job, it's like, no,
Yeah.
you cannot recruit people that way. That's very insulting. You
Yeah.
cannot elevate and bash somebody else's livelihood just because you want to recruit. So I just thought I'd bring that up. Like, it's not cool at all. If your
No,
opportunity is great, just elevate your opportunity just like it is without bashing other professions. So I thought I add. My question,
yes.
journey about healing. Was this journey by yourself or did you find a mentor or a coach? I want to hear about that.
So I had when I went through the core of the healing journey. Parts of the journey I've done on my own, and just discovering myself, and parts of the journey I've had a mentor. And it so happened that my one of my mentors was coaching me on health and wellness, and I was working on learning to love my body. That in itself is another story and a journey in its own. But she also happened to have some training in helping, because when they tie in together, like the health and the wellness, for me was, I had always been slim, but I never appreciated the size of my body. I was always condemning my body and wishing to be thinner, wishing I didn't have cellulite, wishing I didn't have big hips and stuff like that. So I was working with her around this, and learning to love my body, learning to eat differently to the way I'd eaten and stuff like that. And in the process, came up with, we would talk about other, like what's going on in your life. You have to delve into these things in order for her to be able to help me, and we can get like a food plan or whatever. But we went into it started coming up that I need the pain from the past, and I know in she helped me get through this pain, asking me questions, being there for me when I'm feeling really the pain came up, and it's now time to face it, because all my life I had been bearing it and been taught that you have to stifle your pain. You don't feel your pain, you don't express emotions, you don't, if you cry, I was, for in our family was, we were taught, be tough, be a man. And I now when I look back and I think to myself, like, what on earth, that is such a like, what exactly does it mean to be tough and be a man?
Yep.
And why do we say, put that on ourselves, and why do we put that on men? Because we all have uh, feelings and emotions, and we have the masculine and feminine within us, and they're there to balance, to put harmony in us. So for me, I think I was with the anger and the stifling of emotions, was learning now through my healing process to delve into my softer side, my feminine side, to
Um,
be more loving, more
yeah.
kind, more gentle. And what a journey, to see how, when I see I feel so emotional to see the transformation in my life, especially around the anger. And because that anger was directed at my children a lot.
Oh, that's not good.
No, and it's not, it really isn't. But, and I say this with great love, this is what I was taught. And I'm not saying it to put my mother down. I don't know her journey, but I can only assume and
Yeah.
see that it's a pattern that has been passed on and carried on. And I am deeply grateful to be able to unlearn that, to heal it, and to be
Yeah.
a different
Good.
parent, and really when I see the way the relationship is changing. My oldest daughter, there's a 16-year gap between my oldest daughter and my middle daughter. And so the 16-year-old, she went through that whole lifestyle of me being aggressive. And
Mm.
I say aggressive, but like just always being angry and answering harshly, and, just not being a nice person, because, and I didn't realize that. And
Yeah.
she would try to tell me certain things, and I would just say to her, you know what, don't put your, because she grew up in Canada. So I'm telling her, don't
Ah.
put your Canadian ways on me, please. you know?
Poor kids.
Yeah,
Poor kids.
I know, shame. But the beauty of it is that we have grown together. we are healing together, and we are at this point where we can share and we have good laughs saying, oh, remember how you used to be, you do this, and she would, and we laugh and say, like, we gave each other as good as we got, but that was who we were, and that was what we knew, to be that way with each other, always arguing and looking for something, some fault within each other. And it's
Right.
been, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Sharon says, hello, sisters. Hey,
Hi,
Sharon.
Sharon. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Yeah, so we have about 5 minutes to go. So
Perfect.
I need
Thank
you to
you.
tell me, so your story, is that the story in the book?
Yes. So in the story, the first, I talk about how the journey began with
Okay.
husband being deported and how that was the trial that came to change my life.
Okay.
And then I go into talk about how I was learning about judgments and then talking about the healing.
Okay.
At that point, I had
So what
just,
we need now, can you show us your book?
yes, please. Thank you. There we go. Anger in me. Can you see? Thank you.
Oh, the anger in me. Whoa.
Thank you. Yeah.
You see, I love that. It makes people curious, like, whoa, because we are used to like something not like this, like the anger in me, like something love and everything. So
Yes,
I'm
yes.
thinking if I come across this book, I would definitely want to read it because it's like I would relate to because we were brought the same way. I call it we were raised in a military way
Oh, yes.
because our parents they're always angry.
Yes. And very rigid, right?
Yeah,
You, you know,
yeah. Like my you know, we love our mothers, and
yes.
they didn't know any better. They did the best they could, right?
Oh, yes.
So this
Absolutely.
book, if somebody, I'm yes, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who wants to get this book because now I'm intrigued by the title alone. Where can they get the book?
The book is available on Amazon, so they can go to the link that is applicable to the country that they are in. If you're in Canada, it's .ca. If you're in the UK, it's
Okay.
.co.uk. But wherever you are in the world, the link that's applicable to you. And the book is available in a paperback and a Kindle version.
Cool. That's a good idea because
Thank
I
you.
am the one person who doesn't. I'm not very fond of reading a hardcover. So the fact that it's on Kindle, that really helps because
Oh,
I recently
thank you.
published my own book, right?
Oh,
So I have,
congratulations.
oh, thank you. So I have my own personal store where I sell my book myself. So
Okay.
it's still, I'm still working on Amazon. It's taking a bit of time. So
Okay.
it's interesting how I meet different characters. Some will be like, yeah, I love the ebook. I don't like reading the actual book. And some are like, oh, we'll wait for the hardcover book. So I just love the diversity and I appreciate the diversity in people. So
Yes,
I
I
just
know.
want to
And
say,
thank you. There's lots of people asking me to do an Audible as well. So I'm working on that. And I will,
all right.
yeah, I'm working on getting an Audible available, hopefully in the near future.
Okay, one last question.
Yes.
When we were talking before, you mentioned that you do offer coaching services. So what kind of coaching do you do?
So I do one-on-one coaching. I run some workshops and I do online courses.
So what
And
coaching is that for? Like,
so mostly coaching, I would say, for healing, for doing this journey of healing and delving. It has a touch of personal development, self love, healing, because I love, for me, and self-discovery, actually, self-discovery, healing and self-love. That's what I love to talk about, because I found that we were conditioned not to love ourselves, or believe that it is arrogant to love yourself. And yes, you can love yourself in an arrogant way, but
Yeah.
this type of self-love is soul fulfilling. And that's what I want to. I work with people who are ready to delve in and do that journey, because I am only the guide. You have to do the work. So
Okay.
that's the type of coaching I'm working on.
Okay. And
Yeah.
before we go, you said something. Oh, sorry. There was kind of silence. Oh, okay. So you're done.
Yes?
I didn't want to cut you.
No, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, before you said something. Oh, okay. Before you said something about what your family used to tell you, that tough it up like a man. And oh, Sharon says I love to hold a paper book and flip pages.
Me as well,
I
Sharon.
like
Me as
that,
well.
Sharon.
I prefer the paperback too.
It's a great conversation. Thank you. But what you said about they told you to toughen it up, be a man. And I recently read some, I think it's an article or whatever it was, that says the highest rate of suicide is by men.
Yeah.
So when I hear these things that toughen up like a man, that doesn't work, because you
Yeah.
can pretend to toughen up, but one of these days, like you are like a ticking bomb,
Yeah.
that one day you just gonna explode and it's too late to turn back. So I'm really glad that now you are learning, you learned and you are teaching other people on
Thank you.
how to really express your feelings. It's
Yes.
better to cry, it's better to complain and get it out of your system instead of just like keeping it in. And for
Yes.
some people, how do you deal with somebody who tells you, I don't need a coach, I'll figure it out myself? Does that work?
No, it doesn't, but I don't believe in forcing somebody, because when
Mhm.
you're doing this journey of healing, it is a very deep and very personal journey. And you
Yeah.
can't, if you are not ready to face yourself and to face whatever trauma or pain you have within you, I can't do anything for you. And I really, those are not the type of people I like to work with, because they, it becomes, causes a conflict. Then the expectation is that I have let them down, whereas I am only the guide. You have to do the work, because it's your journey. I'm here to facilitate, to help you, to understand how to deal with your emotions, give you tips, and you choose the ones that are applicable for your life, to be there when you need someone to cry, a shoulder to cry on, to vent, to someone who will be there, who's been through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and someone who can help you through those ugly, because some of those moments are ugly. They are really, really ugly. And you need somebody who will not judge you, and not, um, what's the word, put you down for being vulnerable, for releasing what you've been holding on to all this time. So
Thank
that's,
you so much. I really appreciate. I always feel 30 minutes is not enough when I bring guests, because my guests always have a lot to share. I've been promising people I'll call you back, I'll call you back. I'm going to start to revisit the people who started first and
yes,
re-invite them, because I feel they didn't share everything
yes,
because of
there's
our
so much.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely one of these days I will call you back again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
you're welcome. So, in less than a minute, what are your final remarks before we go? In less than a minute.
Mm. You are worthy and take a chance on you. There's more to you than meets the eye beneath the surface. And just take this journey of self discovery and discover how amazing you really are.
Thank you. I really like that. You and me, we should team up because I've come up with this, like, this is what I'm going by these days, living life by design and not by default. So I
Yes.
think we need to team up and talk about
Yes,
that.
please. Yes, please. Absolutely. I would love that.
All right. So
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you for
sharing.
having me.
And everybody, if you want to get hold of her, you need to check the ladies' corner. And before we go, let's just thank T and her team, the
Yes,
ladies'
thank you so
corner.
much. Thank you, T and your team. Thank you, Matha, for having me. It has been such a pleasure to be here and share with you. Thank you. What a great honor for me. And
Okay,
thank you,
thank
T.
you. All right, so we are heading off now. Thank you for
Take
watching.
care. Thanks
Have a
for
great day,
watching.
everyone.
Bye.